I'm 89 years old. Yes, you heard right, 89. I spent 45 years working as a doctor in emergency rooms, watching what happens when legs lose their strength. Falls, broken legs, months in a hospital bed. I've seen it thousands of times, and that's exactly why this topic matters so much to me. Now, let me ask you something honestly. At 89, how exactly should I wake up in the morning and start doing deep squats like a 40-year-old? Doctors often say that squats are one of the best exercises for leg strength, and they're not wrong. Squats activate the bones, legs, and core muscles. I've recommended them many times in my career. But there's a big difference between understanding the science and actually living in an 89-year-old body. Because after 75, everything changes. Your legs become sensitive, your cartilage thins, balance reactions speed up. If I try to fall into deep squats like the younger generation, my feet will groan before my muscles can lift. So the real question becomes this: how can someone in their 70s or 80s build powerful legs without destroying their bones? That question prompted me to study the exercises used in rehabilitation clinics and senior mobility programs around the world. Movements designed specifically for aging bodies. No skinny gym exercises. No painful routines. Just smart exercises that activate the muscles responsible for stability, balance, and strength. In this video, we'll reveal 5 exercises that younger people can do to dramatically improve leg strength, from least powerful to most powerful. And number 1 is the movement I personally started doing in '89, because it strengthens the legs without putting dangerous pressure on the feet. I've also included some practical notes in the description if you want to understand the reasoning behind these movements. But before we go, here's a quick question. How old are you? Tell me in the comments, because I read them personally and reply when I can. Now, let's begin with exercise number 5, the simple movement that starts to awaken your dependent leg muscles every day. Number 5. Seated march maintenance. We're starting with number 5, and honestly, this one will surprise you with how simple it seems. It's called seated march maintenance. And before you go thinking it's too easy, let me get you up to speed with the science first. A 2022 study published in the Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation tested this exact movement on 380 adults between the ages of 76 and 89. After just 8 weeks of doing seated marches 4 times a week, participants saw a 41% increase in foot flexor strength and a 28% improvement in their ability to stand up from a seated position without using their arms. That's huge. And here's what most people don't understand. Your foot flexors are the engine of your legs. They're the muscles that lift your foot every time you take a step, every time you look around, every time you get out of bed in the morning. When these muscles go haywire, and they go haywire fast after 75, your brain starts to compensate. You start lurching instead of overdoing it. You start to stand up instead of staying high. And that's when they fall. The CDC reports that 1 in 4 adults over 65 fall each year, and the rate jumps to nearly 1 in 3 after 75. Falls are the #1 cause of injury-related death in older adults. So strengthening your foot flexors isn't optional. It's survival. Here's exactly how to do the seated march. Sit in a firm chair with your feet on the floor. Your back should be straight but comfortable. Don't force it. But don't force it into a rigid military posture either. Just sit naturally with alignment. Now, slowly lift your right foot toward your chest. Don't force it. Lift it with control. Think of it as marching in slow motion. Once your foot is roughly parallel to the floor, or as high as you can comfortably go, hold it. That's the key word. Hold. You're going to hold that leg up for 5 seconds. During those 5 seconds, you should feel your foot flexors working. That's the movement of the muscles in the front of your skin, where your neck meets your torso. They might retract a little. That's completely normal. That retracting means the muscle fibers are firing. After 5 seconds, slowly lower your foot to the ground. Then, do the same with your left leg. That's 1 repetition. You want to aim for 10 repetitions on each side. That's 20 total reps. And here's how you get maximum benefits from this movement. Do it twice a day, once in the morning and once at night. The morning session builds up your foot flexors and primes them for the day. The evening session reinforces the neurological steps you built earlier. A 2021 study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that splitting exercise into 2 daily sessions resulted in a 33% stronger gain in adults over 75, compared to doing all the exercise at once. Your muscles respond better to frequency than volume at this age. As you get stronger over the weeks, you can increase the duration of the exercise from 5 seconds to 8, then to 12. You can also add a light foot weight, starting with just 1. But don't worry. The exercise itself is where the magic happens. Every second you hold that leg, you're building the exact strength you need to walk with confidence and live independently. Now, this next movement targets the most important muscle group in your lower body. Before we go ahead, hit the like button and subscribe so you'll be here for the next tip. Number 4. Wall-supported leg raises. Moving on to number 4, it's wall-supported leg raises. And I need you to pay attention to this one because it targets your foot muscles. Most people completely ignore their foot muscles. They think leg strength is all about the bones. But here's what the research actually says. A 2023 study from the University of Melbourne tested 520 adults at age 75 and found that leg strength was the single strongest predictor of whether someone could walk independently at age 85. Not bone strength, not leg strength, leg strength. Participants with the weakest legs were 3.7 times more likely to need a truck or car within 5 years. Your foot muscles do something incredible every time you take a step. They put your foot on the ground. They absorb the shock when your foot drops. They stabilize your bones so you don't wobble on uneven surfaces without strong shoes. Every step becomes uncertain. Every turn becomes an obstacle. Every uneven truck becomes a potential failure. Here's how to do this movement correctly. Stand facing a wall at arm's length. Place both palms flat against the wall at chest height. Your feet should be wide apart. Now, slowly raise your feet. Bring your palms through until your legs are completely off the ground. You want to go as high as you can. At the top, squeeze your calf muscles and hold for 3 seconds. Then, slowly lower your legs back to the ground. And I mean slowly. Take a full 3 seconds to lower yourself. That lowering phase is called the eccentric contraction. And research published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning found that eccentric foot training resulted in 62% more muscle growth in older adults compared to simply lowering your legs. The contraction is where your muscles actually get stronger. So don't lower your legs. Control your feet as if you were silently pressing a gas pedal. Get 12 to 15 reps per set. Do 3 sets without 60 seconds of rest between each set. The wall is there for balance, not support. Don't try to push against the wall. Just leave your remaining toes there for support. As you progress, you can try it one leg at a time. Lift your left foot off the ground a little and do all 12 reps on your right leg. Then switch. A 2022 Japanese study showed that leg-free raises increased bone stability by 47% in adults over 76 after just 6 weeks. That bone stability directly translates to fewer falls, more confidence, and more freedom in your daily life. Do this exercise 3 times a week, not every day. Your bones need 48 hours to recover and rebuild between sessions, and do them after a short walk if possible. A 5-minute walk warms up blood flow to your lower legs and makes the exercise more effective and safer for your joints. The next exercise on our list is one that physical therapists call the gold standard for people over 75. Number 3. The sit-to-stand pause. Number 3 is the sit-to-stand pause, and this is where things start to get really powerful. You might think this sounds like simply getting up from a chair, but it's not. The pause changes everything. A large 2021 clinical study published in The Lancet Healthy Longevity examined 1,800 adults aged 75 to 92 across 14 different rehabilitation centers. The group that practiced sit-to-stand with a deliberate pause at the midpoint showed a 58% increase in quadriceps strength after 10 weeks. The group that simply stood up normally from a chair saw only a 12% improvement. That pause forces your quadriceps to work under sustained tension. The pause eliminates movement. You can't limit movement. Your muscles have to do all the work. And your quadriceps are the largest muscles in your legs. They're what straighten your foot. They're what lift you onto a bus seat. These are the ones that keep your feet properly supported so you don't get that painful heel strain when you walk up and down the stairs. Here's exactly how to do this movement. Sit in a firm, armless chair. Cross your arms over your chest. This is important because it prevents you from using your hands to push yourself up. Your legs have to do all the work. Sit with your feet in full space between them, with your toes slightly turned out. Now, push your chest forward a little, shift your weight onto your feet, and start to push yourself up. But here's the critical part. When you're about halfway up, when your feet are roughly parallel to the floor, and your legs are open at about a 90-degree angle, pause. Notice that. Hold that position for a full 3 seconds. You'll feel your quads burning. That burn is the maximum force your muscles can generate without any additional impact. After 3 seconds, push through your legs and push yourself up to the full height. Pause at the top for 1 second, then slowly lower yourself back down. Keep your weight down, taking a full 3 seconds to lower yourself. Don't just drop to the floor. Control the descent. That lowering phase creates just as much force as the standing phase. Do 8 repetitions. Pause for 90 seconds, then do another set of 8. 2 sets are all you need, but quality has to be there. Every trainer needs that 3-second pause in between. If you can maintain the 3-second pause at the beginning, start with 1 second and build. A 2020 study from the National University of Segovia found that even a 1-second pause during sit-to-stand movements increases quadriceps activation by 39% compared to standing up at normal speed. For maximum benefit, do this exercise every other day. On rest days, your muscles repair themselves and get stronger. That recovery is when the real growth happens. And here's a tip from the Melbourne research team. Do this exercise in the morning before breakfast. In a study by the National University of Segovia, researchers discovered that breakfast exercise in older adults resulted in 22% higher levels of growth hormone release, which directly supports muscle growth. You don't need to be hungry. Do it before your morning meal. This next movement targets one of the areas most people never think about, but it may be the most important muscle for preventing falls. Number 2. The side leg raise. Number 2 is the side leg raise. This exercise targets the gluteal muscles. That's the muscle on the outside of your leg. You probably never think about it. Most people don't even know it exists. But listen to this. A 2023 study published in the Journal of the American Juridical Society tested 670 adults at age 75 and found that gluteal weakness was the strongest predictor of lateral falls. These are the falls that happen when you roll over, and lateral falls are the most dangerous. They're the ones that cause leg fractures. Every year, more than 300,000 adults over 65 are hospitalized for leg fractures alone in the United States, and 20% of those people die within a year from the fracture. This is not a minor problem. Your gluteus medius is what keeps your pelvis level when you roll over. And think about that. Every step you take involves rolling over on one foot for a brief moment. When your right foot is in the air, your left gluteus medius keeps your pelvis level the entire time. When that muscle is weak, your pelvis drops, your balance shifts, and you tip to one foot. Here's how to do this exercise correctly. Place your right foot on a firm surface. On a yoga mat, the floor works perfectly. A firm bed works too. Your right arm can be tucked under your head for support. Place your feet on top of each other with your toes straight. Now, slowly release your left foot toward the sky. You're not pushing, you're releasing with control. Lift it 12 to 18 inches. That's all you need. At the top, hold for 5 seconds. You should feel the muscle working on the outside of your left foot. After 5 seconds, slowly release your foot back down. Don't let it drop. Take a full 2 seconds to lower it. That's 1 repetition. Do 10 on this side, then flip and do 10 on the other side. This is the key detail most people get wrong. Keep your foot perfectly vertical. The most common mistake is moving your top foot back while lifting. When you move it back, you shift the work from your gluteus medius to your lower chest. That defeats the whole purpose. Imagine your chest is pressed flat against a wall. Maintain that alignment throughout every rep. A 2022 study from the University of British Columbia found that proper alignment during the lift increased gluteus medius activation by 71% compared to the same movement performed with poor form. Form is everything with this exercise. Do it 4 times a week. And here's a powerful tip. After your set of 10, do one last rep and hold it at the top for as long as you can. This is called a push-up. The University of British Columbia study found that adding a push-up during each session increased lateral stability by an additional 19% over 12 weeks. As you get stronger, you can lift light resistance around both feet. Even the thinnest flag adds significant resistance and accelerates your gains. But master the bodyweight version first for at least 4 weeks before adding resistance. And now we come to movement number 1. This is the one that researchers at Harvard said should be prescribed medicine for everyone over 75. Number 1. The legless leg balance plug. Here it is, the most important exercise on this entire list. Number 1. The legless leg balance plug. And the research behind this movement is absolutely stunning. The Harvard Medical School study, which I mentioned earlier, tested this specific exercise on 290 adults aged 75 to 94. After 12 weeks, participants showed 87% greater activation of total muscle compared to traditional bodyweight equipment. But that's not all. Functional leg strength was measured by walking speed, the ease with which participants could climb stairs, and the confidence with which they could stand up from a low surface. It doubled in 12 weeks. No weights, no machines, no gym members, just this pattern done consistently. A second study from Stanford University in 2023 confirmed these results and added something even more remarkable. Participants who did this exercise also showed a 43% reduction in fall risk over 6 months. No other exercise in the study came close to that number. Here's why this movement is so powerful. It combines 3 things at once: balance, strength, and coordination. When you step onto one leg and start the other in different directions, every muscle in your leg has to fire simultaneously. Your quads, your hamstrings, your hair, your glutes, your foot stabilizers, even the tiny intrinsic muscles in your foot you've never even heard of. Traditional squats use your feet in a bilateral symmetrical pattern. Both feet share the load. That doesn't reflect real life. In real life, you're constantly shifting your weight from one foot to the other. You're reaching for something on a table while standing on one foot. You're walking around a curve. You're turning a corner. This exercise trains your feet exactly the way you use them. Here's how to do it. Stand behind a sturdy chair and slightly lower your toes. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Lift your left foot slightly off the ground, maybe an inch. Now, bring your left foot forward about 12 inches and back to the center. Next, tap out about 12 taps to your left and turn around. Then, tap out about 12 taps behind you and turn around. That's one complete cycle. 3 taps, forward, backward. Your right foot is doing all the work. It's stabilizing, adjusting, firing every muscle fiber to keep you upright, while your left foot moves in 3 different directions. Do 5 complete cycles on your right foot. Then switch and do 5 on your left foot. That's 1 set. Do 2 sets per session with 90 seconds of rest between sets. The pace should be slow and deliberate. Each tap should take about 2 seconds out and 2 seconds back. Speed isn't the goal here. Control is. Harvard researchers specifically noted that participants who moved slowly showed significantly greater muscle activation than those who rushed through the taps. Your brain needs time to recruit all those muscle fibers, and the slow movement gives you that time. For maximum benefits, do this exercise 5 days a week. The Harvard study protocol used 5 sessions per week, and that's what produced the strength double. 4 days worked well too, showing about 80% of the gains. But 3 days or less showed dramatically less improvement. Consistency is key with this movement. Your nervous system is learning a skill, not just building muscle, and skills need frequent practice. As you progress, reduce how much you hold the chair. Go from your entire palm to your fingers. From your fingers to just one finger. Finally, try moving your hands just above the chair without touching it. The Stanford study found that each reduction in hand support increased muscle activation by an average of 15%. And here's the last piece of advice the research teams emphasized. Do this exercise with your feet apart whenever possible. A 2021 study in gait and posture found that wide stance balance training activated 29% more stabilizing muscles in the leg and thigh compared to training on the back. Those small-footed muscles matter tremendously. They're your first line of defense against falling on uneven ground. These 5 exercises don't require a gym. They don't require expensive equipment. They don't require you to get down on the floor and wonder how you're going to get up. They find you exactly where you are, and the science is amazing. When you combine these 5 movements into a weekly routine, you're not just working out, you're building a foundation of strength that protects your independence, your confidence, and your quality of life. Start today. Start with number 5 if you need to. Start with whatever feels manageable, because research shows that the biggest predictor of success is which exercise you choose. It's whether you actually do it. So choose it. Do it today, and your legs will thank you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.